Hi, everybody. You're listening to Radio Cherry Bombe, and I'm your host, Kerry Diamond, coming to you from Newsstand Studios at Rockefeller Center in the heart of New York City. Today's guest is Lucie Franc de Ferriere, the beloved baker behind the East Village bakery, From Lucie. If you've never been, you need to plan a trip. Stop by her charming bakery and get a mini cake and some coffee and walk around. I love the neighborhood she's in and all the great female-founded shops there. Anyway, Lucie is here to talk about her new book, Cake from Lucie, Recipes and Techniques from the French countryside to New York City. It's out tomorrow, and it's as lovely as she is. We also talk about her Cherry Bombe cover. Yes, she was one of the cover stars of our holiday cake issue. Her upbringing in France, her badass grandmother who fought the Nazis. I mean, come on. And lots more. Stay tuned for my chat with Lucie Franc de Ferriere. Our Jubilee Conference is less than 2 weeks away. It's taking place on Saturday, April 25th, here in New York City at the Glass House. If you haven't gotten your ticket yet, be sure to head to cherrybombe.com to snag yours. We have so many great speakers and panelists, including Lucie, the amazing chefs Jody Williams and Rita Sodi, Tony Tipton-Martin, Carla Lolly Music, Jenny Wynn of the Sports Bra, Elisa Marshall of Mama, the founders of Levan Bakery, Jessie Sheehan, Girl Dinner's Olivia Marr, Mariana Velasquez, and that's not even everybody. If you did buy a ticket, don't forget to attend the pregame, hosted by me and Donna Yen on Wednesday, April 15th, that's this week, at 3 p.m. on Zoom. Donna and I will talk about how to make the most of the day, what to eat, drink, and do at Jubilee, what to wear, how to network, and we'll answer all your questions. It's always a fun chat. If you're a first-timer, you definitely want to attend the pregame. Can't make it? We'll send you a link to the recording. Any Jubilee questions, let us know. Write to us at jubilee@cherrybombe.com. Special thanks to Resi, American Express, San Pellegrino, Ghirardelli, Square, California Prunes, and Veuve Clicquot for making Jubilee possible. Now, let's check in with today's guest. Lucie Franc de Ferriere, welcome back to Radio Cherry Bombe.
Thank you so much for having me again. I'm so excited.
You are here because your book is finally here. I feel like we've been talking about this forever.
It's here.
It's here.
I know. I feel like it was going to take forever. And then I woke up one day and I was like, oh my God, it's next week. What is going on?
Am I remembering correctly that you almost thought it was too soon to do a book?
My book agent, Lee, who I love to pieces, is kind of like my second mom at this point. She approached me when I did a Kickstarter for the bakery. So the bakery wasn't even open, but she was like, this is a great idea. I love what you do already. I love the cakes that you do. And there's a whole story behind that I think people should know. And because I was opening the bakery the same year and was getting married that same year, I was like, maybe this is a lot. But me being super innocent, I was like, I can do this. So yeah, I was kind of going back and forth on wondering if it was the right time or not. But then I was like, honestly, there's never a right time. So let's just do it.
Were you working on the book as you were opening the bakery?
I was supposed to be working on the proposal, and Lee weekly was just like, where's the proposal? When are you doing that? And to confess, Lee actually wrote my proposal for me. I helped her with a lot of different things. And she was like, I want to do this real bad. I want this to be, coming out sooner than later. So she just put the proposal together for me and then sent it out and then made it happen, which is kind of amazing because I think I didn't realize that people quit their jobs to write books and cookbooks, obviously. I was just like, I can open a bakery at the same time as working on this book, which was probably a mistake, but I would have never done it otherwise.
Were you recipe testing for the cookbook at the same time you were testing recipes for the bakery?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously most of the recipes that are in the book are recipes from the bakery, which I really want it to be, the bakery book as well. And then there's like family recipes from my childhood. And then I was like, you know what? We want a new recipe at the bakery. We can also put it in the book. So a lot of recipes have been made since at the bakery that I couldn't put in the cookbook because I had to stop at some point. I think I like that it kind of intertwines with the recipes from the bakery.
Let's talk about the bakery for a little bit because you know how much I love that spot. I love the East Village. I love the vibe over there. You could have easily picked anywhere else in the city. You could have gone to the West Village, which is so popular right now. You could have gone to Soho. How did you wind up in the East Village?
I would love to say that, it was East Village or nothing. But to be honest, I was living in the East Village and then in the Lower East Side. So I feel like those two neighborhoods are neighborhoods that I've always loved to walk around in and feels like home. For some reason, the East Village has a lot of French community in it as well. So I don't know, it kind of felt natural. And obviously West Village, Soho, those spaces are great because there's a good amount of people as well. But the budget was not in. I didn't want any investors. with Gurpreet, my husband, we were really much like, we want this to be a small business that, it's just the two of us working on it. And so I worked with a broker and they kept saying like, no, this is too cheap what you want. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to prove a point, go on a website and find it myself. And I found this East Village website and I found this place that looked a little dodgy, but I was like, we can make this work. And I walked across Tompkins Square Park and I was like, this is exactly where this bakery should be. And the street was just perfect with all the smaller businesses and everyone was very different. And I was like, this just feels like where the bakery should belong. A lot of people always say like, oh, why did you pick the East Village? It's not the easiest neighborhood to come to. And I was like, honestly, if you really do want a cookie or not, you'll find a way to come. And I kind of like that because then the customers I have are either locals from the area or people who really want a good slice of cake. I don't get as many tourists, I would say, as well, which is probably beneficial because it is so small and I wanted to keep it that way.
Is the shop even 200 square feet?
I don't think so. I'm terrible with square feet. I'm still on meters, but I don't think so. It's a shoebox.
Yeah.
You blink and you miss it.
It's the size of a cake slice.
Exactly. A mini cake slice.
Mini cake slice. I just think in terms of New York City neighborhoods, East Village is so interesting. I think it's so unlike anywhere else in Manhattan. When I was growing up, it was still where like all the punk rockers hung out and you had St. Mark's Place and you literally would walk down the street and you would pass people in combat boots and spiky hair and safety pins in their literally in their faces. You don't really see that anymore, do you?
You do on Sundays, I feel like at Tompkins Square Park, because I bring my dog a lot there at the dog park, and it's always like a sort of a rock band or punk band happening at like 12 p.m., super loud, which is pretty amazing. But otherwise, yeah, you still see like a good amount of that community walking around. But obviously, St. Mark's has changed quite a bit the last few years, which is a bit of a shame. But I feel like the spirit is still there, and I think that's what I love about the East Village is no matter what, I think because there isn't that many subways going through, it's not the first place that people want to live at if you're not been living there for 20 years, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think that's where there's a strong community of people who've been there for 30, 40 years and are not going anywhere and they don't want to change. And I think I'm seeing a lot more bakeries obviously opening there and restaurants as well, but all the bakeries and all the restaurants over there are small business owners as well. And I think that makes it so special. Like I can think of like Hanif's Bakery, for example. I mean, they're incredible. And then Superiority Burger as well.
Yeah. I've been eating at some of the same places. I think literally, oh my God, 40 years. You're not even 40 years old yet. But like Veselka.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I've been going to.
Which, did you hear that opening 24 hours now? That's what I saw.
That's so exciting. A lot of New York used to be 24 hours. And now,
amazing.
Is anybody still open 24 hours?
I mean, it's probably sad for the people who have to work all night long, but I would have a pierogi at 3 a.m.
I would have a pierogi at 3 a.m. also, and the borscht and the salad and all the things I love there.
Even like the little coffee shops on my street. And then obviously very different. It's not a restaurant, but like the Turkish Russian baths across the street. They've been there for literally over 200 years at this
Have
point.
you gone?
Oh, you have to go. This is a whole experience.
I've never been. Is it single sex? Not that I care, but like, is it co-ed, single sex? How does it work?
Oh, it's mixed. And then on Tuesday nights, it's only for men. And then on Wednesday mornings, it's only for women. And then it's owned by two different families that I believe don't really get along together. So one week is one family, the other week is the other. So your pass only works on one of those 2 weeks.
Stop.
Which is kind of funny. But I decided to go with my cousin because, like, we got to go. They're our neighbors. And then I did the whole special treatment in the basement, in the dungeon, with, you know, that sort of algae, like, thing that they put on you that's boiling hot, and then ice water. And I thought I was going to die, but I was like, I'm a new person, you know. So I highly recommend it.
You were reborn. That's funny.
But I have so many customers that go there and then either in like little towel or they're, you know, shirtless and they come and get a cookie and go back in it with the slice of cake or the cookie and eat it inside. It's pretty fun.
Okay, I got to plan a little itinerary for myself. Tell us what people can find in the shop.
In my shop, they can find mostly cake, obviously. They can find chocolate chip cookies, the almond croissant cookie. We change our loaf pretty seasonally as well. And I've slowly expanded, you know, my baked good roaster to a bit more than cake. It's just that our kitchen is pretty small, so we're limited on that. But we try to change it seasonally as well. So at the moment, we're working on a rhubarb cake situation right now, which is amazing, but it's still hard to find any rhubarb, so that's a challenge.
Yeah, I haven't seen rhubarb.
I've seen a lot of green ones, so I'm just kind of waiting for it to be a little bit more, you know, colorful. I just started making a marble loaf, like the French way, but with like a praline hazelnut topping on top as well.
Wait, what does that mean, a marble loaf the French way?
There's like the cake marbré that you'd eat as a child in France at like 4 p.m. Either you buy from a supermarket or if you're lucky enough, your mother would make it. But it's just cocoa powder and vanilla. And then I was just like, okay, let's just up it a little bit more and put that whole praline hazelnut crunch glaze on top. And that's just, call it a day.
Yum. What do you call that 4 o'clock snack again?
Le goûter.
Le goûter.
Which
right.
is one of the chapters in the book.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is such a good name. I don't think you have anything in America or in England to like a snack.
Snack break.
Do you even have a snack break as a child? You do, right? After school?
I feel like as an American kid, I was always snacking, but there was no designated.
No time.
I know in France, they're not snackers.
Very rigid on, like you eat at the meals. And so they added a meal for children after school. So like the 4 p.m. goûters. And usually it's like baguette and a little bit of dark chocolate or milk chocolate in the middle. And that's what you eat, and then you can probably get a little bit more fancy and have a cookie or something like that. But
sounds so yummy. You just added a fun cookie. I think I was there the day you debuted the cookie.
The almond croissant cookie?
Tell us about it.
Yeah, I mean, I love almond croissants, and that's just something I actually discovered when I moved to America again. I didn't have it at my local bakery, the almond croissant, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I just love the frangipane in the middle, and I was like, I want to work with frangipane as well. And then I was just like, why not make an almond croissant cookie, and it's an almond cookie, but I was like, I want to add a frangipane in the middle and have that sort of heart like you have in the middle of a almond croissant. And then my team was on board. They were like, okay, this could be fun, a little crazy. It's just as usual, but let's just try it. And then we did, I think like 5 or 6 iterations for like 5 weeks. And then we ended up with what we really loved. And now I kind of eat one at least 3 times a week, You just have
They're
to.
So good.
Fisting.
We tried one at the shop, and I think you sent me off with one. And I got it into like a pie almost. So I wouldn't eat the whole thing at once, and I would just eat little triangles. But of course, I ate the whole thing. Oh, it was so good. It's such a good croissant moment in New York City. You've got Le Bray, the wonderful bakery not far from yours. You're great friends with Ashley and Gautier from L'Appartement 4F. Did they inspire that cookie somewhat?
I mean, I love the almond croissant, so for sure. I mean, like, I first started eating croissant when I was working still in the art world. And then obviously having Ashley and Gautier is not helping with my diet, but I was like, I'm just going to keep eating those croissants because they make the best croissant in the city. So yeah, I was just like, oh, this would be fun because I'm terrible at making bread or anything else. And I'm not even going to try that because it's another art. But I was like, maybe try and bring this, in a cookie form.
We'll be right back with today's guest. This episode of Radio Cherry Bombe is supported by OnSite. OnSite is a Shopify design and development studio that works with modern consumer brands. Their mission is simple: help brands turn their websites into the most powerful growth channel, not just an online catalog. They've worked with some of your favorite brands and mine: Fishwife, East Fork, Diaspora Spice Co., Stumptown Coffee, and yes, Cherry Bombe. The OnSite team has become a trusted partner of ours. OnSite designs and builds high-performing Shopify sites, improves conversion rates and the customer journey, and helps brands launch new products and campaigns online. They're focused on turning brand storytelling into a digital experience that drives sales. What's really special about OnSite is that they operate like an extension of your team, helping you continuously improve your site and your customer experience. If you're a founder or brand leader thinking about improving your website or moving to Shopify, learn more at on-site.co or email hello@on-site.co. You can find the URL and email address in our show notes. Today's episode is also supported by In the Cocina, my seasonal Filipino cooking, the beautiful cookbook from Woldy Reyes, who lots of you know as Woldy Cocina. We love Woldy here at Cherry Bombe. He's the New York-based chef and creative who's made a name for himself with his vibrant, artful take on Filipino food. In his cookbook, Woldy shares the story of being a first-generation Filipino-American, growing up between cultures, and ultimately finding connection, identity, and joy through cooking. In the Cocina is a love letter to Filipino cuisine, but it's also something entirely fresh. Woldy reimagines classic dishes through a seasonal vegetable-forward lens, with recipes that feel modern, approachable, and full of flavor. You'll find dishes like garlic furikake rice with fried egg, adobo green beans, and kabocha squash lumpia, plus desserts like lemon cherry upside-down cake and lime olive oil bibingka. The book is also beautifully designed and has a very unique spine that you cookbook nerds will appreciate. Pick up a copy of In the Cocina by Woldy Reyes at your favorite bookstore. Did I hear you're going to have a commercial kitchen? Did I hear a rumor?
Yes, yeah. So we've been working, because we just make a lot of like wedding cakes and event cakes, and I need space for that as well. And my team needs space to make the cakes for the bakery and everything. So we're, there's a limited amount of space. And so we're like, instead of opening another bakery, because I do like the idea it's just one store and it just feels more quaint and special because I want to be there as well. It's just a commissary kitchen will allow us to produce a little bit more. And also I'll be able to have a bit more space to make those wedding cakes because they're not coming to pick them up at the shop. They're being delivered either way. So I'm like, I might as well just do it in that kitchen where I can just put my flowers everywhere, make a bit of a mess without the team being like, what the hell are you doing, Lucie? So we've been working on opening that small commissary kitchen for the past few months. We're almost there, but Gurpreet is working hard on it. So
yeah, tell us about Gurpreet for a second. I love your husband.
Oh, he's the best. I mean, I always say From Lucie should be From Lucie and Gurpreet because if anything, he's probably 50-50 or 75-25. He's doing most of the job. I mean, I do all the creative side of From Lucie. I love, making new recipes. I'm the one kind of hands-on in the kitchen. But when it comes to everything related to a business side of it, I mean, Gurpreet's the genius behind it because I would still be in my kitchen making, one cake at a time. And so he just kind of helped making this a whole business where we have employees and a whole structure that allows us to make more cakes for the whole community. And that's where I think sometimes it's a little tough as well because obviously I am the face and I'm the image of this business, but he should be getting a bit more recognition for it. So it's been great that he's been focusing as well on the commissarying and developing that side of it hand in hand because I can't do it myself.
And tell us about his restaurant.
He opened Sunday to Sunday right a week before COVID hit, which was kind of a nightmare because we were like, oh, this is going to happen. It's a corner store. It will be great. Everyone will come. And then they were like, no one is allowed outside. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't see that one coming. And I was still working in the art world. And then I got fired probably a month when COVID hit. I was just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I was madly in love with Gurpreet already. And he had just started the restaurant. And then they were like, you can open the takeout window. And that's when I was like, I can help out. Like, why not? Let's just open the takeout window. You'll do the coffee. I'll start making some baked goods because I have nothing else to do. And people were coming back for the baked goods. And so then I was just like, okay, maybe there's two businesses in one here. And so we both were just like, okay, let's just separate the From Lucie cakes and baked goods from the Sunday to Sunday. We just kind of worked that one out. And then Sunday to Sunday was, I mean, it's still open and thriving right now. But I think around a year and a half ago, we just decided together, like, okay, let's just rebrand it a little bit more so it's a bit more cohesive with who we are. So I just kind of work on all the menu and all the styling side of it, which I love doing for both businesses. So it's been amazing to kind of bring both businesses together and work hand in hand with that.
Oh, that's exciting. I didn't know how involved you were in Sunday to Sunday.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, I meet with the chef and we have also a culinary person who's helping us with developing new recipes and new menus because obviously I do believe I'm an okay pastry person, but cook-wise, I am not the best. I do love to taste things and I do think I know aesthetically what I want, but I do need help from a chef as well. So we have a great chef and a great cook as well over there that helps me with all of that side. But I do design the menu in a sense of I try to think of what goes with the brand that we've built, the restaurant that we built, and all the image as well. So it's been a lot of fun.
And that's in the Lower East Side, and you could walk if you wanted from Lucie. What should somebody order at Sunday to Sunday?
Oh, it depends on the mood and depends what time of day because it's kind of nice because it's open obviously from Sunday to Sunday and it's open for breakfast, lunch and dinner as well and drinks. But I often say the breakfast plate is kind of my favorite. It's kind of a take on the British breakfast plate but make it a bit more American. And you have, everything you need, 2 fried eggs, bacon, avocado, cooked tomatoes and that's my go-to. And otherwise, I would say the EBS, which is the Elaine Big Salad. It's named after the Seinfeld episode where he just goes, you had to have the big salad. It's just kind of a big salad with like a lot of different things. And I feel like that's my go-to lunch.
It's funny hearing you try to say words like an American.
I know.
I've never heard you do like an American accent.
Terrible at it.
Cake from Lucie. Tell us about the book. What makes it special? I mean, there's so many of our listeners who are obsessed with cookbooks and they will love this one. In your heart, what's so special about this book?
I think it's just very personal and I know probably a lot of people say that as well, but I do think I surround myself with an incredible team when it comes to, obviously the photographer is my friend Lucia, who before the book was even an idea, I was like, this is the person I want to work with because she just works with such like candid moments. So she doesn't really like the whole stage. Everything feels very alive. And that is kind of part of my ethos as well, is none of my baked goods are perfect. And she kind of saw that as an art side of things. So that was really important for me to just surround myself by incredible people. And then I worked with Lauren as well, who helped me co-write the book because obviously I didn't have the time or the organization to do that. I obviously wrote my introduction and all the little words on top of each recipes, but she just helped me organize and put everything into one place.
We love Lauren.
Oh, I love Lauren. She's so good. She just was every week was like, Lucie, where are you at? Where are you at? And I was like, okay, I got this, I promise. And then I worked with Pearl Jones for the food styling and then Rebecca Bartoszewski for the prop styling. And she did also an amazing job because we had already shot some photos with just Lucia in France at my family's place. And so she saw that world again already. And she was like, I can find all the plates and everything to kind of make it work. But I really wanted this book to be a good mix between my upbringing in the southwest of France with the influence of my mother, as well as the whole story that happened in New York City with the bakery, and kind of bring them together and see both worlds collide. And I think that's where the book, I think, really shines, is seeing that sort of approachable side of you can make it at home. There's pictures at home with my family, but you can also make it in that sort of bakery side that people love as well. So it's those two worlds that I think just fit perfectly. And then we just really worked on, you know, the pages being like off-white.
That's so lovely. You don't see that.
I know. And that I just based myself on a lot of cookbooks that I love from the 90s, from this cookbook author called Maïté, which I really love. Is a French cook who sadly passed away last year. I've always had a dream to give her one of my cookbooks, but that's, you know, never mind. But she had always like an off-white. And maybe she didn't have an off-white. Maybe the book was from the 90s. It got a little old, but I was like, I kind of want that idea. Then I worked with my friend Maya, who did all the illustrations in it. And Maya was actually the one who introduced me to Daniel, who I did my first pop-up with. And then people started kind of buying my cakes from that. So that was another sort of special moment, a special person to work with. So yeah, so everything feels very personal. And then I dedicated the book to my mother as well. She didn't know when I went back to France 2 weeks ago and surprised her with it. So we did like a whole little moment where she opened the book, and she's actually coming for the book tour starting on Monday for a whole week. So
is she going to be around for Jubilee?
Yeah, no, she'll go back literally 3 days before.
I want to. Oh, she'll be at the book party. I want to meet your mom. I feel like we've talked about her.
I know. I talk so much about her. And
I mean, your mom's from New Zealand. People might be surprised to hear that. Sometimes you hear a little bit of New Zealand accent in your voice.
She has a thicker accent than I do, but she also has a bit of a British accent. She's, you know, she's like me. She kind of made it up, but she's definitely a bit more Kiwi than I am.
Does she still have like a bakery business?
Well, we have a bed and breakfast that she built. And then at age, she'll probably hate me for this, but I think at age 55 or 60, she decided to open a tea room on the farm, which is kind of a crazy idea when I think about it.
We love that. We love people who pivot
Keeps going.
At all ages.
She's always liked to make cakes for customers at a bed and breakfast, but she was like, I also want the people from the area to be able to just come and have a slice of cake and tea. And so she built that whole business on the farm, and now my sister's working with her as well. So it's just incredible to see and inspiring for me to keep going, you know.
Did you two bake together growing up?
That's kind of a funny story because someone else asked me that the other day, and I was like, honestly, no, my mom, I don't know if my mother was pretty persistent on it, but even cooking, she just always did it herself. I would sit next to her and watch. So I've learned so much from her, but I never really got to bake. I would eat the batter, obviously. But also I was just in another mind space. I thought I was going to be working in the art world. And so I just love to be surrounded by her doing all of that and all her creative process. But it's only when I moved to New York that I was like, I actually miss that whole baking side that she did, and I want to do it here.
Have you had the chance to bake together since?
Yeah, I mean, we baked a lot for the cookbook, which was nice for those 10 days. I was like, okay, Mom, I actually need your help because we're trying to shoot this at the same time as doing every single recipe. So she was very helpful on that. And then she came to New York 2 years ago, right before I opened the bakery. So we were still doing from my apartment. And she was so excited. She just rolled up her sleeve and she was like, I want to do all these cakes with you. And then finally last year, she came again when I had the bakery and she saw it for the first time. And I had this huge order for someone in the Upper East Side, Carolina Herrera's holiday party. And they were like, we want a whole grazing table. I had never done a grazing table before. And I was like, this will be a great idea. Gurpreet's like, oh my God, why are we doing this? And my mother was like, I would love to do that. And so she just spent hours in the kitchen at the bakery with me doing mini cakes, all pink. And then at the end, she had her flight and she was like, I think I'm ready to go home. I was like, okay, thank you for doing that, though.
I think the day we shot you for the cover, some big fashion client was trying to order a last-minute grazing board, and you were like, absolutely not.
Yep. I was like, I've learned a lot from Gurpreet now, because at the beginning I was like, oh my God, this is so exciting. Let's do all of it. But then you end up doing everything not as good. And that's when Gurpreet was just like, we don't need to do all of this, first of all, for our own mindset. We just can't do this all. And also for the client, for the respect of the client, you shouldn't accept that many orders. So I've been better at saying no, thanks to him.
Since we talked about your mom, I can't not talk about your grandmother while you're here because I've been so inspired over the years by your stories about your grandmother. I know you lost her, was it last year?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Did you live to 100?
She lived to 99.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
Which was really close.
Tell us a little bit about her.
I mean, she was just, one of those humans that the older I get, the more I'm like, oh, actually, she was really special. It wasn't just me being young and, idolizing my grandmother. I think she was a grandmother that was pretty different from your average grandmother. I mean, she did go to culinary school. She did the Cordon Bleu in the 50s right after the war. But she was a very tough person as well. She obviously saw a lot at the age of 15 during the war. She was a resistant. She was in prison for that. And her family suffered as well. Her dad became blind, so she had to take care of her dad as well. So she saw a lot of it. And then she had 5 children, which I can only imagine is also a lot to, have to work on. So I think as a grandmother, she just became a Buddhist because her mother was also a Buddhist. And I think she found her peace in that and would wake up every morning at 5 a.m. and start praying. And then at 12, she would stop for lunch and then go back into meditation. And when I say meditation, she's literally upside down doing, like the headstand for 20 minutes. And she would pay us like 10 euros to be like, can you come down and pray with us? And we'll be like, great, because then we can go shopping with that. I don't think I fully realized and grasped that my grandmother was obviously my grandmother and a mother, but she was also a human being for herself. And she did an incredible job at just remaining who she is and finding herself. And that's something that I carry with me as well. I'm obviously, I have this business. I have an incredible husband, but I am Lucie and I am myself, and I need to keep that to, stay sane and healthy. She used to do this one recipe over and over again that my brother and I love, which was the Madeleine. And that is a recipe that I put in the book as well, because I inherited all her cookbooks. Actually, there's an image, there's a full pager in there of my recipe book next to all of her cookbooks from the Cordon Bleu and from the years as well. And so I stole the Madeleine recipe and put a nod to her in it, which was nice.
Oh, that's so special. What is or was the secret to her Madeleines?
I mean, it's not really a secret. It's just very nice and moist, and it stays moist, which is important for Madeleine as well, because when it comes out of the oven, it's perfect. And then a few hours later, it gets really dry. So that one stays nice and soft. But also you just have that nice hump, which I don't believe is such a thing in America. But in France, it's like you need to have the hump for the Madeleine to be good. Because I see a lot of Madeleine here that are glazed.
It seems like Madeleine's having like a little bit of a moment, and people will do like a kind of hard shell glaze.
Exactly. Then you'd kind of lose that hump, because I feel like what makes a Madeleine is that hump, and it's just the aeration of it just makes it so much better. So it is just the most classic Madeleine recipe, but it is orange blossom, which is also a traditional Madeleine recipe. So I'm happy it's in the book.
Let's talk about some other recipes in this. The coffee walnut meringue.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think I want to make. It looks amazing.
I know. I was trying to play around as well with different styles of cake. Obviously, I make a lot of cakes with buttercream because, it's just easier, and it's a lot of birthday cakes as well. But as you know, in France, a lot of the cakes don't have buttercream on top. It's just more like the sponge, or you'd put a dollop of yogurt on top. And I was just interested in this idea of replacing the buttercream with something else. And meringue is something that I grew up with because my mom just made a lot of pavlovas. And I was like, why not just kind of put the meringue on top of the cake and just bake it together, and that will become the buttercream as well, because it's nice and soft inside and then just has that hard shell around it. Coffee and walnut is a traditional cake that I love, and my mom made all the time in the tea room. It's very British. Unfortunately, my husband is allergic to walnuts, so I had to test that one at the bakery and told him not to come that day. Instead of having a spin on the actual flavors, which are traditional, let's have a spin on the textures of that cake.
Let's talk a little bit more about your buttercream, because I'm fully team buttercream. And sadly, I do love American buttercream. Bring on that butter and that powdered sugar. I love it. Not all bakers love that. They do all the different ones, the Swiss meringue, the Italian meringue. But I love the buttercream. So what's the secret to your buttercream?
I mean, same thing. I played around, and that was one of the reasons why I started baking in the first place in New York, is because I would go to different bakeries that, the sponge was incredible, but the buttercream was so sweet that I'd almost get a toothache, and I'm not used to that American-style buttercream. And so I was just like, how to make a sponge shine over buttercream as well, so you don't lose the flavor of it. So I experimented with so many buttercreams, and that goes from the Swiss meringue buttercream, the German buttercream, the French buttercream. I love that they're all, country names, which is kind of funny to me.
Like the United Nations of buttercream.
Exactly. And then with the carrot cake, for example, I kind of played on the cream cheese with the fromage frais, which is the French version. That's a little lighter as well, and that just makes the sponge shine. You know, people are just like, oh, I kind of like also an American buttercream. And I agree with that, but I was having fun with how to make this a little less sweet. And so I do have an American buttercream in the cookbook, but it uses a lot of heavy cream, and the heavy cream just makes that whole shininess and it holds it together without having that much powdered sugar, basically. And then you don't have that sort of graininess sometimes that you find from the icing sugar, which that is something that I just don't want my... And again, everyone has their different palate, and also depends on the time of the month. And, you know, at one point in the month, I'm like, I just want that sugar rush, and I will get it. But most of the times I do want this idea of having a 4 p.m. slice of cake that almost feels not healthy, but you don't feel like, oh my God, I'm eating a ton of sugar.
Speaking of a cake that's practically healthy, your carrot cake. What's the secret to a From Lucie carrot cake?
It became kind of the cake that people come to with the chocolate chip cookie, which is kind of funny. It just happened. But I think people love that cake because, I don't know if it's because it doesn't have the nuts inside, which most carrot cakes usually has a lot of nuts. Reason why I didn't put it again is because my husband's allergic. That was the only reason why I didn't do it. But I think it's just because it stays nice and soft. And I keep using the word moist. I just have to because it is the word for cake, and I love that word.
Some people get really freaked out by the word moist.
That's why I keep saying it.
Apologies to you listeners who are
I should be making like a whole
right
I should
now.
make a whole moist hat or something one day.
I think that was a forbidden word at one of the magazines I worked at, moist.
Okay, so I'll stop saying it. It stays nice and soft, and the zing of the buttercream as well just, you know, makes it, I don't know, just way more interesting. But people love it because, especially if you order as a birthday cake, I always say, and you don't finish your cake that day, it stays up to like 4 days in the fridge and it stays moist because it is an oil-based cake as well, which helps.
Where do you stand on the raisin debate?
I mean, okay, that's a debate I actually had with my mother. My mother puts raisins in everything, especially her scones. That's something that she just loves. And growing up, I was like, why are we doing this? And the older I get, the more I'm like, oh, raisins actually do bring something to cakes and scones. But again, I don't want like 3 raisins per bite. I want maybe 1 raisin every 3 bites. So a touch of raisins. But I don't need it, though.
A golden raisin or a raisin?
Raisin.
Raisin.
Golden raisin, I only use them for cooking, like in my curry, for example.
And savory dishes, yeah. I pretty much hate raisins and baked goods, although I might be caving on that a little bit. Like an Irish soda bread or...
Yeah.
Have you been to Mary O's?
I have.
Not far
of course
from
I
you?
have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's incredible. It's so nice. And I love how it's like always warm and the butter's melting. And I'm like, this is all you need to do. And she did such a good job.
Yeah, for all of you who are going to do a crawl of the East Village, Mary O's is this
Absolutely
very unique spot that only does Irish soda bread.
And I love that. I love that she's just like, this is it. This is the one product that you're going to get, and I'm going to do it super well.
She's committed. There's a recipe that we are running, the matcha.
The matcha mini cake.
What's special about that?
I think I had a lot of fun because I don't drink coffee.
Oh my God, I forgot you told me that. How do you not drink coffee, Lucie Franc de Ferriere?
I think I already told you that, but to me it tastes like socks juice. So if you like have a dirty sock and you pour water through it, that's what it tastes like to me. I'm just like, why would someone... I love the smell of it. I love coffee ice cream. I love all of that. I love to wake up to the smell of it, but I could not drink a cup of coffee.
So you'll eat coffee ice cream, but you can't drink coffee.
And coffee cake is amazing. It's too bitter. I don't know.
I wonder if it's a taste bud thing. You know how like some people literally can't eat cilantro because their taste buds make it taste like soap.
Right. And I think that's probably what's going on. That's what I tell myself. But also I think I was just like, why would I start now? It's not worth it because I
Do you like the smell of it when you wake up in the morning?
I love the smell of it.
Yeah.
But I grew up drinking tea because, again, my mother had a tea room and she was just like, okay, so you drink Earl Grey in the morning and then drink green tea in the afternoon. So I had this whole sort of almost religious tea ceremony every day. And so when I was introduced to matcha, that was just kind of a whole other layer of drinking hot water matcha for a while and then discovering obviously that you can put it as a latte. And then I love the color, I love the flavor, and I was like, this would belong perfectly in a cake. And white chocolate is it's a favorite of my husband's. And I was like, let's just put these two together. They will taste amazing. And so we did them in a mini cake shape. And then I just had so much fun with the piping, and that dark cherry on top was just the perfect little combo.
It's so adorable. A lot of times your cakes are sort of the naked cake style where the sides aren't frosted. But this is covered all the way around with sort of little...
way more intricate.
Kind of dots of this matcha buttercream.
I know. And I mean, the color is just so playful that I was like, we just need to cover it in this one color. And also, it's just the mini cakes usually you have to put it in a box and then you give it to people. So when it's fully covered, sometimes it does smudge against the box and it's not ideal. So I would do that more if I had like a party at home or something and I don't have to travel with it because it's pretty delicate and intricate.
Your buttercream recipe is so interesting. It has distilled white vinegar in it.
Yeah, well, that's just because of the bowl that you just want to clean.
You can tell who's the professional baker here and who is not. That's so funny. It's not an ingredient. I love it. I thought it added a tang. Oh my God, am I the first dum-dum to ask you that?
But you don't want to put too much in it because you don't want it to taste. But no, it's just to make sure that there's no butter residue. I know I was kind of curious to why we put it in the ingredient list, but at the same time, I am someone, a lot of people are just like, I'm always stressed when I'm baking. It just doesn't feel like a fun moment. And I always tell people, prep your ingredients in advance to the T, like put it on a scale, put everything in little buckets or plates, and then you can start your recipe. But don't try to start with one ingredient and go back to a book and be like, okay, what's the next step? Because that's when you're going to get stressed and lose everything. So I think we went to another extreme where we even put the distilled vinegar. The buttercream is probably a little bit more intricate because it's a French buttercream, but that really goes a longer way to have the matcha flavor come out with the egg yolks. And then the matcha cake itself is a butter-based one, so I would recommend making it the day of that you're eating it, just because, again, it would dry out a little bit more than an oil-based cake.
And are you making a sheet cake and carving out the circles?
No, I buy individual tins to really make that look perfect. I don't know why I started doing that, but I saw those mini tins and I was like, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen. Let's try to make a cake out of that. And then that became my mini cakes. But I realized I'm really drawn to many things. I just did an Easter special with carrots and I saw these mini French carrots. And I was like, this is so cute. Let's order them. And they're literally like the size of my pinky, not even. And I was like, this is perfect. And everyone was like, why are you trying to do everything so small? I'm like, I don't know. I have an obsession.
You are doing a book tour.
I'm doing a small book tour. I can't be away from the bakery too long either.
I know. We talked about this ages ago, and I sort of had dreams for you of like a Natasha Pickowitz style book tour.
I don't know how she did it, but she's amazing at that. And I'm so happy, actually. I'm doing a conversation with Natasha on Tuesday. She is just the best at, giving advice. And I was like, I don't think I am as social as she is as well to be able to just do that mini conversations or, pop-ups and stuff like that. So I was very, very thoughtful on where to go. And I also, again, me being me, decided to do that very last minute, probably 2 months before the book comes out or a month before. And I, had the help of Delaney, who's incredible. And she's just been really helpful at organizing everything and making sure it's possible.
I would cut yourself some slack. You had been talking about what to do for your book tour for a long time.
I know. But I was going back and forth on do I want to do it or not, and I think that is just a decision at the end of the day you just have to make yourself if you feel like it's a good thing or not. And a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know if it's beneficial or not for the book. And I was like, this is not about the book. This is about the hard work we put in and just being able to meet different people and talk about the book that you poured your whole heart in for 3 years,
Will you have signed copies at the bakery?
Yeah. I'm actually planning on doing a little block party on next Saturday as well. So all the customers can come 4 hours, get their copy signed. And I'll have like a big sheet cake and some cookies outside so anyone can have a slice if they get a cake. So that will be kind of a fun moment as well for the whole community. But I will definitely have some as well at the bakery for the rest of the life of the bakery, really, which I'm excited about because it is really the bakery book. But that's why I think on the book tour I was very interested in partnering with different bakeries as well, because this is kind of the heart of the book.
Will you be going anywhere else in the U.S.?
I'm going to LA, San Francisco, Charleston, and I'm doing a cake decorating class in Connecticut at the Mayflower Inn hotel. They're just hosting a cake decorating class for a few people, so it'll be exciting.
Fun. Where will you be in LA and San Francisco?
In LA, I will be at Now Serving, and I'm talking with Sasha Pilligan. I'm very excited.
Oh, we love the team at Now Serving.
They were amazing. Same thing. Turnaround was last minute. They're like, of course we can do it.
Ken and Michelle, they are incredible. So Michelle's done the makeup for some of our covers, by the way. Yeah, isn't that fun? That. She did the Molly Boz cover. She did the Marr sisters.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Mm-hmm. Oh, they've been incredible and just being like, of course we can do it. Just, put it together and we'll be there. And I was like, okay, this is amazing. And then I'm doing a pop-up with Canyon Coffee as well, which will be cool. Fun.
They just came to New York.
I know. I
haven't been yet.
Me neither. And I have to go because I have to find time to go to Brooklyn because I'm always at the bakery. But I'm very excited about that new coffee shop and just being able to do something with them in LA, because again, my photographer Lucie is really close to them, and she was like, this would be the perfect partnership. I'm just going to do some mini cakes and maybe some cookies as well for people to come and get,
Cool.
and try a bit of the baked goods.
And you'll be drinking tea at Canyon
I'll
Coffee.
be drinking tea all day long.
How about San Francisco?
San Francisco right now, we're still working maybe on a conversation to find a place. But otherwise, I'm doing a little pop-up at Butter and Crumble. If you heard of Butter and Crumble, I love her. She's just amazing. And I feel like it just kind of aligned nicely as well. And she seemed really excited. So they'll be doing a mini cake on the menu for that weekend as well.
And Charleston. We love Charleston.
And Charleston was pretty amazing because I was like, it would be nice to do a southern city as well. And Charleston, for some reason, I have quite a few people on Instagram that live in Charleston. They're like, oh, you should come to Charleston. I was like, this would be a perfect place. But also, I was speaking with Delaney, and she was just like, honestly, Welton's Tiny Bake Shop. You know Hannah Welton, who actually, they just got nominated for James Beard Award.
What's it called?
It's called Welton's Tiny Bake Shop.
Oh, I don't know them at all. How do I
my
not
God.
know?
They're a couple, and they're incredible, and what they make is just amazing. I mean, the food looks amazing.
I love Charleston.
Oh,
I hope you spend a little time there because the food scene down there is amazing.
4 or 5 days, which is nice.
Great. I'll give you my favorite places.
But I'm doing conversation with her as well at the Ladybird.
Ladybird Bookstore is one of my favorite bookstores in the country.
I'm so excited.
It's brand new. Honestly, I was like, bury me at Ladybird Books. It's
same thing. They
fantastic.
Were adorable, and they're like, of course we'll do it. And so that feels very special because I'm having conversation with another bakery owner. I'm sure we'll just discuss that. And,
That's great.
So that would be a lot of fun.
I have to give a shout out to Petite Merci, a beautiful little restaurant. It's so tiny.
I'm talking with them actually to maybe have a cake on the menu for one of the nights someday out.
Oh, that's so great. You'll die when you go visit.
I can't wait. I have everything planned out, and I'm like, this is probably one of the most fun part of the tour. So I'm really excited. And then I'm going to be doing a little cake demo with this jewelry company called Heart. Everything is pretty organized at this point. I just have to start going on it.
Oh, that's fantastic. You're going to see so many of our favorite people. I love this.
I'm excited. And then I have 2 conversations in New York, so I can't wait.
We didn't mention our friends at Cezanne. I feel like they're so good and generous to all of us.
I know. On Wednesday, they're hosting this beautiful breakfast with all my close, friends. And so that will be kind of a special moment as well because I've worked with them for such a long time. I just love their clothes and I just feel like it aligned perfectly.
Yeah.
And I have some of the pieces in the book as well. So it's like, this needs to happen.
I noticed those. I wore my Cezanne sweater for you today since I was going to see you.
Beautiful. I love the little ruffles on top.
I know. It felt very you. That's why I put it on. But anyway, have the best book tour. I'm jealous I'm not going to be on every single stop. I would have tagged along with you on the whole thing
if
I could have. I would have. Absolutely. Let's do a speed round. I'm sad to say goodbye. I could talk to you forever.
I know. I'm like, I can keep going.
Well, we know it's not coffee, but what beverage do you start your day with?
Matcha.
What's always in your fridge?
Oh, God. Vegemite.
For real?
I know, yeah. This is a bit of a strange one, but that's my New Zealand side that comes out. I just would always have Vegemite in my fridge.
Okay. What's the other one that's kind of like Vegemite? Marmite.
Marmite is more like a honey sort of texture, and it's, I would say, a little bit sweeter. And then Marmite is more like a Nutella paste texture. Different taste, of course, but they both taste a little similar. They're very, very salty, and you just eat that on toast and salted butter in the morning.
So I just went to Dean's. The new pub from Jess and Annie at King. It was fantastic. And they have Marmite butter on the menu.
Yum, as they should, because Marmite's amazing.
They have Guinness bread, which is fabulous, and Marmite butter. So it's literally just Marmite whipped into the butter, but kind of left a little marbled.
Yum. Maybe I should do that with my Vegemite then. So keep putting salted butter in Vegemite. But I eat that every morning. So
good. What was your favorite food as a kid?
Does chocolate count as food?
Sure.
I'd say chocolate. Otherwise, magret canard, which is duck magret. Very specific for a child, but duck magret and like potato fries was my go-to.
Okay, yum.
And a wine sauce on top. 8-year-old me trying my dad's wine from the season.
You did grow up on a winery, so there you go.
And honestly, I thank them for that because they really taught me how to drink wine and not just drink too much of it. You know what I mean? Like appreciate it and put it into food, which one of the recipes in the book is a red wine cake. So it's a little nod to my dad.
That's nice. Have you watched Drops of God?
No.
On Apple TV?
Should I though?
You probably should. I think you'll relate to some of it. It's about a young woman whose dad is a wine genius. He does not necessarily leave his whole wine collection and fortune to her. Oh, he also wrote like wine guides. I'm doing a terrible job explaining this.
Who did you give it to?
Drops of God. It's based on manga. There was a manga story that they turned into this TV show. And it takes place in France, in Italy, in Japan.
Wow.
And it's in all these different languages. And it's just so wonderfully done. I haven't watched season 2 yet, but season 1, highly recommend.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to watch that tonight.
All right. Total wild tangents. Okay. Speaking of streaming, what are you streaming?
Well, right now I'm rewatching Peaky Blinders because the movie came out and I realized I never finished Peaky Blinders. So that is one thing that I'm watching right now. And then I know it's not streaming, but I just went to watch the drama with Robert Pattinson and Zendaya.
The movie. Mm-hmm.
The movie.
How was it?
Really good. I actually really enjoyed it. I know people think differently about it, but I was like, this is actually really well done. I won't tell you what the drama is. You have to go and see it. But you'll be surprised and not surprised at the same time.
Dream travel destination?
Costa Rica? At the moment, if you ask me, because I just want a little holiday and I've heard it's pretty amazing. Or Sardinia, which I've never done, but for the food.
Both sound great. So you need a little water and sunshine, huh?
Definitely.
Okay, last question. If you had to be trapped on a desert island with one food celebrity, who would it be and why?
Probably not a good choice.
You have answered it before, but I don't remember who you answered.
I think I'd put Maite, which is my French person, and I'd probably still pick her. We would survive on that island for sure. She would kill every single animal, anything that's on the way, and would make something incredible out of it. So definitely Maite, I would say.
I almost just fell off the stool when you said she would kill every animal.
Have you seen the videos of her?
No.
Oh my God, we have. I'm going to show you after. It's literally French television. When I did the video of Martha, I had told her, I was like, oh my God, my French version of you is Maite. And she was like, who the hell is this? And you could tell if she did know, she probably did not take that as a compliment. Because Maite would just go on live television and she would have a live chicken and just would chop off the head and then just everything will be bleeding everywhere. And she'd be like, this is the way you do the chicken. And it was just so countryside, but she was from my region. It was so comforting to me. I was just like, okay, well, this is how you do the food, and it's so real. So at least you knew exactly what you were doing. There's nothing staged about her, which I really like. And that's what I think I just carried in my bakery as well, is everything feels normal, natural, and not too staged or perfect.
I'm sorry you never got to meet her.
I know.
But you do have her watching over you. I know you have her book up on a shelf.
So funny. I get so many French people who don't know this is owned by a French person who come in and are like, oh, I wonder what's good here. And then they turn around like, why is Maite in this, in this shop? And then they kind of make the connection, which is fun.
Oh, well, Lucie, thank you for stopping by. You know how much we love you. Congratulations on this beautiful book. And I hope you have a blast on your tour.
Thank you so much.
That's it for today's show. Thank you to Lucie Franc de Ferriere for joining me. Don't forget, Jubilee is happening Saturday, April 25th in New York City, and tickets are on sale at cherrybombe.com. The link is in our show notes. We would love to see you there. If you're a listener and you're coming to Jubilee, be sure to say hi to me. Our theme song is by the band Tra La La. Joseph Hazen is a studio engineer for Newsstand Studios at Rockefeller Center. Our producers are Catherine Baker and Jenna Sadu. Our executive assistant is Bridget Pittman, and our head of partnerships is Rachel Close. Thanks for listening, everybody. You're the bomb.